Hi and welcome! After releasing 3 videos about positions in War Thunder, we've accomplished something that other channels haven't been able to achieve for years, reaching over 1,000 subscribers. I truly appreciate every view and subscription to my channel. Thank you so much for that, guys. Today I want to start with the map Spaceport, which has been one of the most successful maps for me personally, and now I want to share my strategy. First, we need to secure a position and win the fight for Sector A2. This position is crucial for victory in the match, and we play an important role in controlling the flank. Once we reach this hill, we need to win the close combat and prevent the enemy from dominating the flank. Situations here can vary. Sometimes you'll be playing solo and relying solely on your skill, while other times your team will assist you. There aren't any significant secrets to this position. All you need is focus and composure to win the first phase of the match. One tip to remember: from this hill you get a great view of the main street in the middle of the map. Sometimes you'll catch enemies off guard as they pass through it. By the way, Soviet tanks can also perform well in this position, but because their guns have limited depression angles, you'll need to position your tank differently. Your landmark will be this structure here. After winning the battle for Sector A2, it's time to decide what to do next. The first option is to stay in place and continue controlling the flank. This choice is best if the enemy team keeps pushing through the flank. The second situation is when the enemy is trying to capture Point A and your team needs help defending it. If you know several enemies are heading toward Point A, you can take up a position on this hill. From here, you'll get an excellent view of all the enemy tanks threatening Point A, and you'll also be able to control the central street. For Soviet tanks, you can position yourself like this. Your view won't be as good, but still decent, though unfortunately you'll lose control of the central street. The third situation is when you know the enemy isn't pushing Point A. In this case, you should relocate to this hill. This is the ultimate position, allowing you to fully control the left flank and eliminate enemies advancing on Point A. There's only one key piece of advice for this position. The enemy's helicopter landing zone is located to the left behind the hill, and you must use this structure for cover to avoid incoming missiles. Unfortunately, this position doesn't work for all tanks. When playing Soviet tanks, after securing Sector A2, I usually head to the enemy's spawn point and try to prevent them from leaving their base. On your screen, you can see the easiest way to reach the enemy base. Reaching this position is rare because the path to the enemy base is very dangerous, and the enemy might be in unexpected spots where you won't be prepared to engage them. If you manage to get here alive, you'll be able to score a few kills directly at the enemy spawn point. In the comments, I've noticed that many players criticize spawn camping. Let me share my opinion on this. If an enemy kills me at the spawn point, I blame myself and my team, not them. If someone managed to cross the entire map and reach a position where they can take out opponents at the spawn, it's a failure of my team's defense, and that player deserves a few easy kills for outplaying us. Ultimately, the choice is yours to engage in spawn camping or not. Let's move to the map fire arc. I know many players dislike it, and most try to die quickly to move on to the next match on a different map. However, I want to share my favorite position on this map, which will help you secure enough kills to avoid embarrassing yourself in front of the enemy. From this position, we can control the center of the map and catch opponents heading to point B. The gameplay here is very straightforward. Spot enemies using binoculars, then take them out. There are only two key directions to focus on: the center of the map and the hills on the left, where enemies often appear. It takes some time to get used to playing from this position. If you spot an enemy on the right, your tank should face the railroad tracks on the left. If the enemy is on the left, your tank's hull should be directed toward the right side of the railroad tracks. If your team is losing badly, remember that this position is perfect for securing a few additional kills. If your team is winning, play it by ear and consider moving to point B or C. However, I strongly advise against trying to fight for point A, as it's nearly impossible to reach it alive. Overall, I dislike this map just like most players, but I decided it would still be useful for you to know about this excellent position. Soviet tanks can also play this position, but they are more likely to take return fire due to their poor reverse speed. I want to share my strategy for the Carpathians map. Most players focus on fighting for point A, so once again we take on the dirty work of defending the left flank and contesting point C. Our gameplay begins as soon as we reach sector E7. Here you need to angle your tank's hull toward the hill and turn the turret to the right. In this position, you have a brief 1-second window to land a clean kill on an enemy trying to climb the hill. This doesn't happen often, but it's important to be aware of the opportunity. Next, position yourself between two rocks and start targeting enemies in their usual positions. Always stay alert. If the situation becomes chaotic, back off and give yourself a few seconds to analyze what's happening. The key piece of information you need to know is whether any teammates are covering you from the left. If not, you'll need to watch the left flank yourself. You also need to understand the situation at point C and how many enemies are nearby. Don't rush into fights with enemies at point C. They are in a disadvantageous position and don't pose as much of a threat as the opponents directly in front of you. This spot can feel uncomfortable for Soviet tanks, so I usually use a different position with them. The issue with this point is that it leaves you more exposed and less protected. Once you've cleared the enemies in sight, it means the first phase of the battle is over and it's time to reposition. Move forward to this hill. Always check if there's a tank ambushing on the left, as enemies are increasingly found here lately. From this position, you get a great view of point B and partial control of point A. But the most important aspect of this position is that it blocks the road from the enemy's lower spawn point, relieving pressure on your team's left flank. Your job is to outplay any opponents on this road. I've noticed that allies often join you in this position, and if that happens, you can safely move to the final key spot for this match. From here, you control most of the map and completely cut off enemy reinforcements heading to the right and central parts of the map. Don't forget that you'll have a good chance of hearing enemy tanks approaching from behind, coming from their spawn. If you hear a tank on the left, be prepared for it to reach your rear within a few seconds. If no teammate is covering you, taking it out is your responsibility. By the way, Soviet tanks perform well here too. Now it's just a matter of finishing off the remaining enemies and waiting for the match to end. Now let's talk about the cargo port map. The first thing we need to do is intercept the enemies heading toward point A. This map is excellent for improving your skills in shooting on the move. I absolutely love this map and enjoy the close quarters combat that constantly takes place here. First, we need to get behind this red building. This is where the real chaos happens, and you can catch several enemies heading toward point B without even looking in your direction. From this position, you have two options. If your team is winning, the best move is to head to this bridge. From here, you can control enemies leaving their spawn, defend point B, and fight opponents who have made it to point A. I have just 3 recorded matches on this map, and in each one I managed to rack up a large number of kills following the same strategy. The only thing I'd like to add is that if there are too many enemies and all your teammates are dead, fall back to this corner and start playing cautiously. Check for enemies at point A and eliminate those heading toward point B. Also remember that you can move to the other corner of this building and take out enemies at point B. If you've never tried this strategy, give it a shot. It's incredibly fun and a great way to break away from long positional battles. I hope this video was helpful for you. Please leave a like. It really motivates me to create new videos and helps the channel grow. Thank you for watching. Take care and see you next time.